Ancestry has a new look, they have added some new icons, they have some new features, and they've moved a bunch of menus around. So we're going to go through all of that with regard to the tree view. Hey, there is a handout for this episode. Links for how to get the handout are in the description. All right, let's get started. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start on the left-hand menu, and then we're going to talk about these top menus in the upper right corner that are new, as well as the tree and the icons itself. First of all, if you're new to Ancestry, to find this tree view, you would simply go to trees and drop down to your tree. Now, this is one of the changes. They have moved some of this stuff to this menu, whereas before it used to be a drop down on your tree name. It is not there anymore. It is up here where you can create and manage trees, your learning hub, your story scout, and all of your trees if you have multiple trees. All right, let's start with the left-hand menu. First of all, in the upper left corner here where we see view, you have a horizontal view and you have a vertical view. So the horizontal view is going to give you your direct line ancestors, and the vertical view is going to give you a descendancy view. Now, I purposely zoomed out really far because this can get crazy big as you click around into the different buttons. Okay, so clicking into the gallery is going to take us to Ancestry's new Story Maker Studio, which kind of is a conversation in itself, but they're really trying to encourage people to create stories. So here they're giving you not only your media gallery, but you can also create albums, but you can also create stories, you can write stories, you can have video and audio, all in the Story Maker Studio. And so, and the photo lines obviously gives you your 4 generations, including myself, my mother, my grandmother, and my paternal great-grandmother, all in a row, so you can kind of line up the photographs, which is kind of fun. So if you click into the media gallery, now you get the entire set of images. These are all the images that you have uploaded as well as those you have imported to your profiles on your tree. Okay, the next thing on the menu here is this find button, which is the same as this find button over here. So if we click on find, we get this side panel that pops out. Now, one of the things that I want to point out here before we kind of get into it too deeply is let's talk about the home person. For me, I have set myself as the home person, but some people like to change the home person to be someone else so that they can see relationships. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's pretend for a moment that I have drilled into my ancestors, and then if I had clicked on this view in tree, and by the way, if you're not seeing this menu, you go to tools and you hit show research tools. We'll give you this extra little menu. So if I go now back to view in tree, so I'm going to view this Benjamin Booth back in the tree, I get Benjamin Booth over here. I'm not visible anymore, but you can see there's a path here where I was here, and now we've gone to Benjamin Booth. So it's kind of showing us this little crumb trail. But if I hit the home person button, which I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself, but if I hit the home person here, or from the find menu and I hit the home person here, it's going to reorient my tree back to where I am on the left-hand side. Let's watch. So here I am as the home person. Now I've reoriented my tree, which is sometimes helpful if you get lost in your tree, because it certainly can happen. Okay, so one of the things you need to be aware of is that when the home person, or I should say the focus person, because there's a difference between a focus person and a home person. Right now, because I hit the home button, I am the focus person and the home person. You see that it's a different color. Now remember, when we had gone to Benjamin Booth, there was this paper trail down here kind of showing us that is a trail of the focus person. So while Benjamin Booth is not and never has been a home person, he was a focus person for a period of time while I had drilled into his profile, and then I came back and that gave us that trail. So just to demonstrate that again, if I go into his profile, then I go back and view in tree, you can see now we have this little trail of focus people. So if I go to another person and I look at their profile, and then I go back to view in tree, now I've had a trail of focus people. The reason why they do this is so that you can jump back to your previous focus person. So here I'm on Benjamin Garrett, but if I want to jump back to Benjamin Booth, I click on that hyperlink and it takes me to him. Now I've lost Benjamin Garrett in this little crumb trail that they're leaving us. So those are just some little helpful tips as far as navigation in the main part of the tree as well. All right, let's move on with the rest of the Find menu, because it's in the left-hand menu, but we still have more to explore here in the right-hand side panel that has popped out. So it's showing us the last viewed person, and we can click on a list of all people, and we can do a search here. Now, we've been asking Ancestry to be able to search by location as well. Hopefully they'll give that to us soon. A couple things to point out here. You can pop that side panel out by doing a tree search here, and you get that side panel, the same side panel, popping out again. Also, you can use at any time, anywhere in the platform, this little teeny tiny tree icon to take you back to the main tree. So that's what we're going to do right now, and we're going to finish out the tree search. So back on the main tree again, I'm going to hit Find. And this time I want to talk very briefly about the filters. Now I realize this isn't actually part of the tree, but this search function right here is the place to go when you're trying to find anybody anywhere in your tree, because this find function is not necessarily easy to find from the profile views. So when you're in the tree view and you're going, hey, I need to find a certain ancestor, this is the place to go to find that person. But you can make it a little easier by using filters if you have used tree tags. So here is the My Tree tags that Ancestry has created. And other than the custom tree tags, these are all pre-populated tree tags. So if you have a DNA match that you've marked, or a variety of different tree tags that they have available, and you can just truncate these. But I have created several tree tags. We've talked about this on the channel before, but I've created various customized tree tags, some of which seem to be a popular idea is I left off here. So when I am finished working on somebody, I will add this tree tag here so that when I click on this and I hit done, I get a list of people that I was last working on in the tree, and then I can jump right to them. Now keep in mind that you will have had to put this tree tag in the ancestor's profile. But when you do, and let's say Benjamin Garrett here is the one that I want to jump to, and it reorients the tree to Benjamin Garrett. Now, if I click into him and look at his profile, you can see that I had added the tree tag. So if you just want to add tree tags, you hit that pencil icon, pop over here, and if we want to edit those tree tags to see them all, we open this up, and you can see that I have the left off here tree tag, and you see it over here, as well as the verified. So I verified this guy. It's a good idea to use a verified tree tag so that you know that you have made the linkages to the previous generations. Okay, moving on to the hints button over here on the left-hand menu. That is going to take us to the all hints menu, the page that has all hints for all of your ancestors. I never go here, but you should know that it's here. So this has 24,000 hints. I'll never get through this in my lifetime. I don't really care about how many hints are sitting there waiting for me. I am focused on one person at a time, and maybe the cluster, the husband, the wife, and the children. That family unit, that's all I'm focused on, and that's one of the reasons why I use that left off here tag, because I don't want to go down other rabbit holes. I want to stay focused on the person I'm most interested in at that moment. I'm just letting you know that that tag, all hints, quick jump to this page button is here. Okay, back on the main tree again, the DNA tag. This is going to jump us to the entire list of our DNA matches. This does not take us to the top level area for DNA like it does up here when you hit DNA results. It takes you to that top level page. That menu on the main tree is going to take you just to your DNA matches. All right, hold on to your hat. Just when you thought we were done with the left-hand menu, this little three-dot menu, and I refer to it that way in the handout, this three-dot menu has a whole mess of other stuff inside of it. And this information came from this menu originally. There was a drop down here under your tree name. They've moved a lot of that here, so you can invite somebody. Now, when you invite somebody, you have the option to invite them with different permissions. So you can invite them to your tree as a guest. You can invite them as a contributor or an editor. I would recommend that you take a look at those different permissions and what they allow. You can invite them by email or username, and they can also see living people. I would suggest you get this all set up the way you want it. Maybe they're a contributor, maybe they're a family member, whatever. Get this set up before you hit create link. This is the way I typically do it. I find best success here. Emails, for some reason, might go to spam or something. It doesn't always come through. And unless they are already an Ancestry username, they have to be a member. So here's what I do, and I typically use the create link and to send people over there, and that way they can contribute to your tree. All right, let's talk about the tree viewing options. Now, this was moved. This was originally on the left-hand menu, and it has been moved underneath the three-dot menu. And this is where things get a little crazy. So if we click on the tree viewing options, you have a lot of options as to how the tree looks. One of the things you need to know, though, is that some of these options, you may click on them and not see any difference because you have to be in the descendants view, or what they call the vertical view. I have a bunch of these turned on right now. So if we turn off all of these, the only thing that's showing with everything turned off are hints. So if I turn on the through lines icon, this is the through lines icon. It's got a little cluster of people. You turn that on and it shows you these little icons. Well, what that means is that if you click on that, it's going to take you to a through line. And of course, if you're not familiar with through lines, you have to have taken a DNA test in order to see the through lines, and you have to have connected that DNA test to your tree, to someone, preferably you, in your tree. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So then when you click on the through lines icon, it's going to take you to through lines. I'm not going to go there right now. I'm just telling you that's what this icon does. And then this person would be the common ancestor. So the through lines is going to show all the descendants from this common ancestor who have taken a DNA test and have mapped it out in their tree that they are a descendant from, in this case, Anchor Jensen. Okay, so that is the through lines icon. If we turn on possible DNA matches, you're not going to see it most of the time. I've never seen it in the horizontal view. You need to switch to vertical view. And so here's where you might see that icon in the vertical view, and what you can do is click into that. And when you do, you can take a look at who that match is and confirm whether they are or are not correctly lined up in your tree. Now here's another one that moved from the drop-down menu up here to this three-dot menu. That is the tree overview. So in the tree overview, when you click there, you get this other page that has a lot of stuff that is about your tree, how many people are in your tree, how many photos you have, all kinds of stuff, the recent stuff you have been working on, etc. So this might be another place to go if you are trying to pick up where you left off. You can kind of see some of the recent stuff you have been working on. Okay, so the next is the tree settings. This is where you would go to set your tree, delete a tree. Please don't ever delete a tree. I don't care how bad you think it is, don't delete it. That's a whole other conversation. But if you go to tree settings, this is where you can manage your tree, and you can also see privacy settings, and you can see some of the invitations that you have sent out to other people. This is also where you can change the home person. So if you wanted to change the home person to somebody else in your tree, Benjamin Booth, if I wanted to change him to Benjamin Booth, this is where I do it. We're going to talk more about that here shortly. So getting back to the three-dot menu, what you're going to have left here is the print, which will tile your tree into various pieces, and you're going to have to tape it together if you actually send it to print. And then create a keepsake allows you to sends you over to another page where you can create a book from your tree, from the Ancestry tree. You can actually use your Ancestry login to go to that page. All right, there's a couple more options in the three-dot menu that I didn't cover because I needed to get into the vertical view. So I'm up here in the vertical view because I wanted to show you some very specific options that are on that have been moved actually to the 3-dot menu. One of is the layers. It used to be in this left-hand column. So when we click on the tree viewing options, it opens the side panel, and we've got a couple things up here that we didn't talk about before. This is viewing all spouses. So here you can see that there is a spouse. So if you turn this on, it's going to show all the spouses for Ellsworth Booth. And by the way, you notice when I hover over, you have a couple others. You can add a relative, or you can edit this profile from here. It's a quick edit. You can open that up and make some quick edits. So those are 2 more new menus that we haven't seen before. So here I have all of his spouses opened up. So I'm going to turn that off because I just find it obnoxious to see that much. So now I'm going to pull this back over. When I click on this icon, I call this the spouses icon, you can choose which spouse you want to see. So we know he was married first. We don't know her name, but then he was married to somebody named Julia, then my grandmother, and then another woman after that. So you can choose which one to turn on and off. But here's the other one, the relationship line labels. So if we click on that, it shows you the relationship to the home person. Okay, in order to change the home person, you need to go to the 3-dot menu, go to tree settings, then hit change, then type in who it is that you want to change to. I'm going to pick Bessie Blanche Booth. I'm going to deselect this because Bessie is not myself. I'm going to hit select, and now I go back to the tree. And if you'll notice, we have to turn on the labels again. So we hit the 3-dot menu, we go to the layers menu, tree viewing options, then we go to relationship labels. And if you'll notice, it still says that these are my grandparents. That's because you have to hit the home button. As soon as you hit the home button, this tree view is going to revert to whoever is set as the home person. So we're going to hit the home button, and now it is all the relationships have to do with Bessie. Here's Bessie. She's in a different color because she's the home person. Okay. And so the labels are showing as her parents. Okay. So a lot of times people want to do this because they want to see what the relationship is. In this case, it's ridiculously simple because it's her parents. But if you have people that are, far apart in the tree, then it might show you the relationship. It just depends on the relationship between 2 people. Okay, so now if I want to revert that back, I go back to the tree settings, I hit change, I type my own name, there I am, I say this is me, I hit select, and now I'm back. When I go back to the tree viewing options and we turn on those labels again, it's still going to say Bessie's parents because I haven't clicked on the home button. So that's kind of a little hack to get this to go back. And now once I've hit the home button and reoriented myself back to Oliver Booth and Melissa Smith, I can see that those labels are correct again, and I can close this out. That is the trick to getting these labels to change, is you have to hit the home person. If you're going to change the home person, you have to hit the home person button on the tree in order to see the relationship labels change. Okay, it is time now to move up to the upper right corner menus. We're going to start with the activity menu, and when we open this, any of these up, it's going to open actually all 3 of them up. You've got task, changes, and viewers all in one area. So this is just a sample task. It says view comments, mentions, and tasks in the tree. Tasks are only visible to people you've invited to the tree. So if you're collaborating with other family members, your tasks are going to show here. I just threw this in there as a way to put a task in there for you because I do not use this area. Changes are things that you have recently done or other people who have made a comment. So here's an example of where someone made a comment on one of the people in my tree. When I click on that, it's going to take me directly to that Ancestry's profile, and somebody has put a public comment in on my tree in the comment section, which is awesome because she's giving me a suggestion on where to look. So this is kind of cool. Also keep in mind, anytime you see beta in here, you may see a pop-up down here at the bottom that says give us feedback. That's only in the beta areas. Going on to viewers, These are the people who have looked at my tree in the last 7 days. I'm amazed at how many people actually are viewing my tree. But when you think about it, I've got 4,000 some people in my tree. I'm not surprised that people, as they're working on their tree, are finding connections. So that is the activity area. All right, the last two are invite and find. Those are the same buttons that we've already talked about. So let's move on to the main body of the tree. And here are just a few more items that we haven't talked about, but are changes within the Ancestry's platform. And primarily what we're looking at are these new boxes. Now, before we had potential ancestors, but it didn't give us a name. Now they are giving us some solid information about who might be there based on records they're finding, DNA connections they're finding, all of the algorithm working together and giving us their best guess as to who belongs in those slots. And so all of these green boxes with the dashed lines mean I don't have them in my tree, but they are suggesting that they have a strong possibility that that is the right person that belongs there. If they have no suggestion at all, you'll see something like this where it says add father. We have talked about pretty much all of the icons. Obviously, you know that if you click on a box, it's going to open up the tree further, and then you can also collapse it back down. And so with that, that is all of the new menus, the icons, all the little tips and hints and things that are going on the tree view. We haven't even scratched the surface or talked about the profile view. I hope that was helpful. Don't forget that there is a handout for this that explains all this. I know I went through this really fast, but if I didn't, the video would be, an hour and a half long. If you want a handout, there's information about the handouts in the description box below. Please give the channel a thumbs up on the video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can get more information about this. I do a lot of these Ancestry videos, and so if you want to learn more, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It is free, doesn't cost you anything, and that way you'll get notifications, especially if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notifications of new videos coming up. That's it for today. We'll catch you in the next video.